what seems to be kind of putting a dent in that kind of core selling into enterprise customers that you guys have been focused on?
So, hi, nice to see you. We were really pleased with our results that we announced last night. We exceeded both the high end of our revenue guidance as well as our profitability metrics, and we were able to raise our outlook for the full year on both the top and the bottom line. Some of the key highlights of the quarter was we saw stabilization in our online business earlier than we expected this year, as well as peak gross margins at 80.5%, and our Zoom Phone, which is our cloud PBX solution, crossing the 10% of revenue threshold. We did talk about the fact that we had a reduction as well as a restructuring in our direct sales organization. And while we saw some traction in the SMB portion of that team, it's going to take a little bit longer for the rest of the organization as expected when you have such a significant transition to return to full productivity. And all of that is reflected in our guidance and what you're referring to.
Now, Zoom during the pandemic obviously had kind of a growth moment. I think the market was looking at you guys as a growth stock under those conditions. As you're talking about this kind of online consumer piece of your business plateauing a little bit and some of this pressure through the sales org on your enterprise business, do you look for growth elsewhere? Is something like an acquisition or a tack on something that you guys would consider to kind of juice that top line or find some growth out of those two key business units?
So we have really been investing in innovating across the platform, and we are so excited when you look forward to not only Zoom Phone, but also Zoom Contact Center that was released last year. We announced in March some new beta features around Zoom IQ, which is leveraging AI to be a smart companion, to do things like chat or email composition, to do meeting summaries, or even think about summarizing a long chat thread that maybe you missed earlier in the day. We also have announced just in Q1 an acquisition of Workvivo, which will bring front and center a collaborative employee data hub that leverages both social as well as intranet. So we have an amazing platform that has continued to grow, and that is what we're looking for to drive the future growth of the company.
I appreciate your answering that, but just to follow on what Alex was asking, looks like you've made 2 acquisitions this year. Last year, 6 acquisitions. The biggest was $125 million. Perhaps investors are looking for a bigger transformative purchase. How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, we always watch what's available in the market. And as you indicated, we've done Solvi and Workvivo this year, both really helping us accelerate the development of parts of our platform. And there's 3 criteria that we look for. We look for technology. We have a very high bar. We look for culture, as we want to make sure that it would be a great addition to our team. And then, of course, we look to valuation, which given what's happening in the market, has become more attractive over time. Yep. But we want to make sure that any acquisition we would do would really benefit our customers. And that's what we look for. How would it transform the customer experience? And we keep watching for those opportunities.
I got to ask you about your competition as well, because we hear more about companies consolidating their software onto Microsoft Teams. Does this concern you? How do you counter that?
So, Microsoft is a great partner to us. We always, again, think about things through the customer's viewpoint. And what we do is we work with our customers to help them leverage whatever products they want. Sometimes they want to use Zoom Phone and Zoom Contact Center or Zoom Meetings and couple that in with potentially another Microsoft product. So we have seamless integrations with them. And we saw one of the ways that I measure the strength in our business is through our renewals. Q1 is our largest renewal period, trending all the way back to that uptick we saw the early stages of the pandemic. Yep. And we saw very strong renewals in Q1 and very little logo churn, which tells me that customers might be right sizing, but they're sticking with Zoom as they know and love us.